Hey guys, it's Cann and Helen Sanders.
Hello.
How we doing?
We are good.
Good. And I'm so happy today to have you here, Helen.
I'm really pleased to be here.
Brilliant. And are you nervous?
No.
No. You're a star. You've got the experience. I know you have of doing these sort of things, haven't you? So
I've got experience of talking to people when I can't see them.
Okay.
Because I used to work for the BBC, but now
Facebook Live.
I know they can see me. Hence the lipstick. I thought I'd better, make an effort.
Well, there you go.
I know.
There you go. I'm just going to record the podcast because people that are watching this live, you can see that I'm in a bit of a sporty thingy here, so I might do that live anyway. The podcast. So we're just going to press record there, and I'm just going to do a little quick introduction. And try and remember what you wrote.
Well, we've known each other for a few years now.
We have. Perfect. We have. Right. Hey guys, you're here with Pete Cann on the You Can Achieve podcast, and I'm here joined by the lovely Helen Sanders, and I've known Helen for a good couple of years now. And Helen, every time Helen walks into a room, the whole room lights up.
That's the loveliest thing that you've ever said to me.
And I meant it.
That's really nice. I know. That's really sweet. Thank you.
If you ever need any help with knowing about people, I would say that Helen is your lady as well. So, but it's not really so much about recruitment because that's obviously your background and everything. Yep. But today I wanted to talk about a bit more about the real Helen Sanders and your life and obviously the podcast is all about vision, goal setting, challenges, etc. Now, I know you've got a story. I know a little bit about it, and I'm really looking forward to hearing some more about it. Okay.
Yep.
So, without further ado, when did you first achieve your first goal, and what was it, and how did you feel?
So we're going back a few years. Obviously, I've just only had my 21st a little while ago. So if you take it back a step further, I was a gymnast as a kid.
Okay.
You wouldn't know that now, looking at... But I was a gymnast and I was a swimmer.
Right.
And that meant swimming early before school. And then after school, being collected and changing in the car.
Okay.
Into my leotard.
Right.
Ready to, once I got to the gym...
Wow.
Already changed. So one of my big goals there was just to be really, really, really good. And I wasn't the best. I was not the most talented swimmer, and I was not the most talented gymnast. And so I use something which I still use to this day, which is being really stubborn.
Okay.
I will not give up. And it doesn't matter if I'm the best or not. I will do everything I can to make sure that I reach that goal. And that goal then was just to be in my Hillingdon School of Gymnastics team and to be able to represent London. And I did it. And it was just through sheer stubbornness.
Wow.
It really wasn't. And it carries through to now. I don't have to be the best. I can strive to be the best, and I want to be the best. And by the best doesn't mean, number one, doesn't mean earning more than anyone. It means doing what I want in the way that I want. So treat people really well. And if I treat people really well, everything else will follow. And it's almost the same as when I was a gymnast. If I treat my coaches well, I didn't particularly like them, but I treated them well and I had respect for them, then I knew that I could use my stubborn part of my personality, which can get people into trouble, can't it, if you're a bit stubborn?
Yeah.
But I used that personality to make sure that I trained harder than anyone else. I put in more hours. I worked on everything. So if I knew that one of my colleagues or one of the other gymnasts only practiced 5 times that week, I'd practice 7.
Okay.
So, my first goal was making sure that I got into that team with HSG. Perfect. And it happened. And it was awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And so, and you used to swim as well, you said?
Used to swim. So it got to the point, actually, where with my parents, I'm a middle child. So I had an older brother and a younger sister. And we were all quite sporty, different sports. But it's really hard for parents with 3 kids. I mean, you've got 2 kids.
2 kids,
I've got 1. Even with him, it's difficult enough. But to have kids where we're all talented in different things, I had to choose between swimming or gymnastics.
Right.
I chose gymnastics. With hindsight, I should have chosen swimming.
Okay.
Because it probably would have been something that I wouldn't have been as injured as often as I was.
Right, okay.
That's another bit of my stubbornness coming out.
Yeah,
I'll try something and try. And if I hurt myself, I'll probably get up and try again.
So when you say injured, I mean, what sort of injuries did you get?
Oh, I broke my patella. I broke my elbow. So my actual elbow humerus. It wasn't humerus. Yeah,
Right.
it wasn't fun.
Uh-huh.
That was not fun. And that was doing gymnastics, but it wasn't at the gym. It was
Yeah.
in the park. And I thought I was being clever.
Right, okay.
And it wasn't that clever. So that was not good. I had various head concussions and stuff like that.
Wow. Was that like trying to do a
Trying to
tumble
do
or
stuff.
something?
Yeah,
and then
just trying to do different things on the bar, on the beam. I fell off a lot. Anyone who's done a sport like that will know that actually it's those times that you fall, you don't want to make that mistake again.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you learn from it.
It's true. It's so
Yeah.
true. So talking about sort of like stubbornness, and I suppose it sort of leads quite nicely into sort of maybe a challenge, obviously challenges in your life. And my next question is, what has been your biggest challenge and how did you overcome it?
So this is a really easy question to answer, and you know a bit of the story about it. So I have a son who is called Leo, and he is 12, going on 30 sometimes, and at other times a bit like a 5-year-old. And he has been our biggest challenge. Not he himself. He's not a challenge. His life has been a challenge in that he has been thrown a lot of challenges along the way.
Yeah.
Where, as a mum, we've had to make certain decisions for him. So when he was 7 months old, he had an allergic reaction to a pea-sized bit of hummus. And he basically died, and paramedics brought him back. And for 4 months, I had to push and push and push and say, we need to work out what it is in that hummus that made that happen. And that was kind of a training ground for me, because I realised that stubborn streak I talked about meant that I could advocate for him. As a 7-month-old, he can't put his hand up and say, well, we need to work this out.
Yeah.
So we worked out, and actually he's allergic to sesame, and as a result we also worked out he's allergic to peanuts and nuts, and at the time also eggs, but the eggs one has gone. So as I say, that's a training ground in his first year of learning how to work my way through the system, finding out which doctors I need to speak to, which nurses I can get on side to help me get the information I need to keep my son safe. Fast forward a few years, and at the age of 3 and 3 months, he's then diagnosed with a brain tumour, cancerous brain tumour, and I couldn't actually say cancer for about 6 months when he was diagnosed. And the challenge there is that he should never have survived. And kids who have that kind of cancer, most of them don't survive. And so as a result, the NHS and schooling, the world over, it doesn't matter even if we were in the States, it's the same thing. He still would have had the same chances or lack of chances. So the challenge there is to make sure, again, that I'm advocating. I did not care who I upset. You could be the best doctor in the world, but I'm going to say to you, are you the best doctor for my son?
Yeah.
Because if you're going to do what I think you need to do, or if you're going to do what you say you're going to do to my son, I need to know that you're the best. Because if he was my parent, he would be asking the same questions. So the challenge there was using every ounce of my humanity to be very pleasant to a lot of people to get what I wanted, and manipulate the situation to make sure that he got the best care here in Bristol and also the best care up at the Royal Marsden, where I've had one of the best doctors in Bristol say to me on the day that our son finished treatment, I am so pleased you pushed us.
Amazing.
And that same doctor, you could guarantee if I was walking down the corridor and he was walking down the corridor, he'd look at me as if to say, you're going to challenge me today.
Yeah.
That's my job. And yeah, that's definitely been the biggest challenge, is getting our son through that treatment. And the awesome thing is, next year he'll be 10 years out of treatment.
Amazing.
And the challenge since then is to make sure that the life he now has, as a result, not of the cancer, of the treatment that he had, to make sure that he does not grow up with a chip on his shoulder as a result. Because we all got something that we can be pissed off about.
Yeah, of course. Of course, it's like you say, it's how you deal with it, isn't it, and how you react to it. But I'm sure with a mum and a dad, as you and PJ are, he's got the right support network around him. For
absolutely.
Sure.
And we will not let him blame cancer for anything he can or cannot do. Yeah. In actual fact, we frame it the other way. Going off on a bit of a tangent here, but we frame it the other way. We say, actually, because you had cancer, you can do this. So, for example, he's a really good artist. And and he was a good artist even at 3, which is a really strange thing to say because we all think our kids are really good artists, don't we? But he was a really good artist, and throughout treatment, he was a good artist, and he would verbalise how he was feeling through pictures.
Wow.
And I firmly believe that as a result of him having cancer, as a mum now, I'm kind of thinking, actually, if he decides to be an artist, do it.
Yeah.
Whereas if he hadn't had cancer, would I be thinking along the more traditional lines of, no, you must go to university and you must be really academic and play a bit of sport and do all the traditional things, and then get married and settle down and have a family? No. No. And I've seen some of his work as well, actually, and and I would be really honoured, actually, if you'd post some of them maybe in the Cann group. Yeah,
because
absolutely.
some of the stuff is really, really cool, and it's very humorous. Some of the stuff, the way he
it's
thinks,
hilarious.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Okay, so. That obviously was a big, and like I said, I've known you long enough to know, and I didn't know the full story actually. So and I've met Leo a couple of times that night when I was your chief tosser.
You were a very good tosser. Seriously, if you ever need a tosser, do we need to explain this?
Probably.
If you need someone to toss a coin at a charity do, he's your man.
I'm a top tosser. I am.
He can, you can, top tosser.
And it was brilliant because we were there at this charity do, and
so
again,
good.
that's something else that's really, really amazing about you, Helen, is that you're so busy, but you give as well, because with it for Click Sergeant, because it's such a big cause for you guys and stuff. But anyway, a bit of a tangent there. But so this charity do, you needed someone to toss a coin, heads or tails, and if anybody's ever played this game or haven't, you basically all you do is everybody stands up. I think people put money in an envelope? Was that right?
Yeah, however much
to win a case of wine or whatever it was. And everybody has to put their hands on their heads or on their tails, basically. And then I have to toss the coin and then call heads or tails. And there was probably, about 100 people in the room?
122.
122 people in the room, right? And so we're tossing the coin, and it's just whittling down. And literally it got to the last 2 people, and one of them was Leo.
How on earth?
You couldn't write it.
You couldn't have written it.
And so Leo comes up with, I don't know who the other person was.
No,
and I was just like that, and it was like heads or tails, boom. Bang.
And he won
it, and he was
a case of wine.
And he was, how old was he then?
He would have been 9. So PJ, my husband, was really pleased because he liked the case of wine. But actually, I think we did give it to the other lady. It was a lady. I remember who.
But it's just it was just amazing like that. How that just it's just one of those things, isn't it? It just how things, I suppose. In your mind, you don't think that would happen, but it just happened, and there was a reason it happened for that night. And obviously, I'm the best tosser there is. So if you want a tosser, then
I'm going to book you for next year.
Perfect.
Okay,
perfect. Good. Cool. So what's been the biggest or greatest success to date?
Oh, it's Leo.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, you've met him.
Yeah.
He's pretty. Everyone's kids are pretty awesome, but here's a kid who has a lot of challenges, and to look at him, if you met him in the street, apart from the fact that he uses a wheelchair, you would not know that there's anything going wrong in his head, and it has gone wrong in his head because of the nature of the treatment he had. It's damaged parts of his brain. But here's a kid who, seriously, you can have such a great conversation with. A really mature conversation. Ask him to write it down, he wouldn't be able to do it because he can't really write.
Yeah.
And he can't really spell, again, because of the damage to his brain. But here's a kid who, if you needed to have a conversation with him, or if you said, you know what, I'm not feeling very well. Do you know what he'd say to you? Pete, you've got to man up. Now, here's a kid who I don't want to have a chip on his shoulder, and he's telling... So if I've got, mummy's really, I've got toothache. I know what you're going to say, Leo. You're going to tell me to man up.
Yeah, amazing.
That to me is a real success, because he could so easily say, because of this happening to me, I can't do this. Whereas actually what he's saying is, because of this happening to me, this is how I'm going to live my life. And I would never want him to have depression or any kind of issues. I had antenatal as well as postnatal depression, and I probably was depressed after he was ill for a good couple of years. I would not want him to have that. as a result of what happened. So if he can have that attitude, man up. So later, when you feel a little bit coldy, a little bit fluey coming on, man flu, you've got to man up.
That's it. So you've heard it here first. Man up.
Absolutely.
Man up. So if you need some help and you feel a little bit weak or whatever, just give you a quick shout, and then
get Leo he'll send you a video going, right, you need to man up. That's not to say that your friends around you can't help you, but you do need to man up as well.
Definitely. Yeah. So what would you say the 3 things that you're most grateful for in your personal life?
Okay, so I'm American, so you know that we have Thanksgiving every year, so that's a time of the year that we're really grateful for things. And last November, we always, Leo, myself and my husband PJ, always go to TGI's because it's the most American place over here that we can find, and we always go around the table and say what we're grateful for that year. And to hear, this is the most grateful thing that I'm grateful for, is the fact that Leo said that he's really grateful for the fact that he's in a really nice school.
Oh, amazing. And
we fought really hard for that. So personally, that's a big thing, a really big thing. And now I'm getting a little bit emotional about it. But yeah, so I'm really grateful for that. I'm really grateful for having a fantastic husband in PJ. He knows I'm very difficult to live with. I'm not the easiest person. I give off all this, I'm very bright and spunky and, I give off all this energy. But that also can lead to, being a little bit tricky. Oh, you're a little bit tricky, I'm sure, to live with.
No, I'm not.
Chloe.
I think we all are a little bit tricky.
We are a bit tricky. Yeah, absolutely. So Leo just being really grateful about where he's at. PJ just, being awesome. And for the fact, the other thing I'm grateful for is that as a 3, we've come through something where I know other families have been through really traumatic experiences, and their marriages and their families didn't survive that. And now 9 years on, we've had our ups and downs, but 9 years on, my husband and I, we are married and happily married, and we're going through this journey together. And I'm really grateful for that. Can I add a 4th?
Go on then.
My family.
Okay.
So I'm adopted.
Oh, okay.
And so is my brother and sister.
Oh, wow.
From different families. And we have a mum and dad. They live in Henley, and they couldn't have kids. And they adopted 3 children from 3 different families. And we grew up never knowing when we were told, but we knew we were adopted. And to have parents like them is just awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You're just like, this is Cann. This is just opened up. There's so
you
much
can.
Like, you're just like peeling back all these different things I didn't know about you.
Yeah.
Amazing. So that's your personal life. Now, obviously, you've got a professional life as well. So you're not only a fantastic mother, fantastic wife, and obviously looking full time, looking after really Leo, because he is in school a little bit, but it's not full time. It's not a whole pile, is it?
No.
But you still find time to earn money and have a professional life. So what would you say are 3 things you're grateful? Well, first of all, let people know what you do, and then what you're grateful for about that.
So I've been in recruitment for a long time. I started off actually as a journalist a long time ago, and realised that I wasn't a backstabbing journalist that would sell a story or write a story. Or I was a BBC journalist, broadcast journalist, so I knew footballers who were not doing drugs but they were having affairs, and I know other journalists that would have exposed that, and that was none of my business. If they were having that affair and it didn't affect how they played, it's not my business. Just because I'm a woman doesn't mean that I should feel more about it. As a journalist, it's not a story for me. So I started there, and I was really grateful for that part of my career. I started when I was 14 doing voiceovers up in London, and then became a journalist, and yeah, that was really good. Now, professionally, I fell into recruitment a bit like you did.
Yep.
In fact, I don't know anyone who's in recruitment who's they're growing up as 14-year-old. What do you want to do when you grow up? I'm going to be a recruiter. It just doesn't happen. But actually, if you know anyone like that, I would like to talk to them, because I want to get under their skin and work out what it is that makes you feel like that. So I fell into recruitment. My brother was in recruitment. He found me my first job. So my brother was my pimp. So that I should be grateful for. Can I say pimp? I just did.
That's fine. You said pissed a minute ago as well, so it's fine.
Yeah, true.
And I just said it as well then. Right, sorry.
So now my business is really where I want it to be, in the sense that, yes, I'm in recruitment, It's called Your People Partners, and that's absolutely where I feel a lot of recruiters let themselves down because they don't partner with anyone. They're in it for themselves. And for me, I've surrounded myself with a really good bunch of people who get it. They understand that in order to help companies grow, you find the right people. And the only way you can do that is by partnering with the company, with the business owner and the hiring managers, but also partner with the people that are looking for the jobs. It's hard work looking for a new job. Really, it's stressful. And recruiters don't make that much easier. So, yeah, I'm really grateful for the fact that I've come through that 20 odd years in recruitment. I know I look a lot younger, and I said I was 21 earlier. I started early, as well as having this career in broadcasting. So, yeah, I like the fact that we're disrupting how recruitment can be done. Doesn't necessarily mean it should be done that way. I'm sure there is a room for other types of recruiters.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm concerned, I love people. I love seeing how happy someone is when they get the job of their dreams. I've had emails from wives saying, "You've made my husband so happy." That's an interesting one.
Yeah, right.
That made me smile. I don't usually make other people's husbands happy, but there we go. So yeah,
Cool.
It's cool.
Okay. So, do you have any daily habits or rituals that you do?
I have daily habits I should do.
Yeah. Or your way that you do that you find
So,
that helps
okay,
you
so
get-
when I'm on top of things, when I'm on form, I sleep 8 hours at the right time. So I used to sleep 8 hours, but it might be from 1 in the morning till 9 in the morning. And that's no good. Because 8 hours for me, between 10 and 6, suddenly I am unbearable in the morning. I am bouncing off the walls excited. I bet you're a bit like that, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, whereas my sister, she won't thank me for saying this, but she could sleep 8 hours, 10 hours, and she still wakes up and she's still really grumpy. Actually, a bit like Leo. How are you this morning? That's what I mean by 12 going on. Yeah. So that's one thing I definitely do is sleep really well and at the right time. I drink tons of water, so I'm forever going to the loo. So that's my other ritual.
Yeah.
And I am really thankful for everything. And so before I go to sleep, it used to be that I said a prayer because I was brought up Catholic. And that's kind of morphed into just thank you.
Yeah.
And I'll go through in my head. I don't write it down anymore. Mainly because I didn't want anyone to see it. I didn't want anyone to find it. Because what I'm thankful for, it's actually a really personal, quite a spiritual thing for me. And I don't want to share that. I want that to be a very deeply personal experience. And so I am thankful, and I find 3 things that day.
Amazing.
And it could just be, I'm thankful for the fact that Leo went to school, or I'm thankful for the fact that it's not raining today.
Yeah. And do you find the fact that when you're thankful before you go to bed, you actually get a better quality
without a doubt.
with the sleep?
Without a doubt. Yeah. And no matter what time I'm going to sleep. So, I mean, I am known for going to sleep at 3 o'clock. And mainly because I've got so much going on. I need to be able to switch off, and that's one of the ways that I switch off. And I know that if I don't do that gratitude bit before I go to sleep, you don't quite wake up in the same way.
Yeah.
Do you find that as well?
Yeah, definitely. It's sort of like putting a bit of it's like a full stop to the end of the day.
It's a bookmark. Yeah.
But you're sleeping with good thoughts.
Day.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, definitely. Perfect. So I'm all about vision. I'm all about vision boards. I'm all about, I cover myself with vision and triggers, and I'll show this to the audience. So bears, basically little triggers. What's Helen Sanders' vision for the future?
For the future is loads of travelling. And we're off to Florida actually for 3 weeks in about 4 weeks. So that's cool. I will be doing a bit of work as well as holidaying. Other parts of my vision board are we want to buy our own house. Because of our circumstances, we haven't been able to. We have, and then we sold it. But yeah, so we need to buy our own house. I don't really care what it looks like, because you can always make something pretty, but we just want something that we can call our own. And lots of really happy memories that we're forever creating as a family for Leo.
Amazing. So obviously there's listeners in the podcast, and there's some viewers live. I can see Rupert is sat there.
Hi, Rupert.
Hello, Rupert. How are we doing? So what 3 tips could you offer that from your heart to our listeners and viewers, because there's going to be other people that will watch this, to lead a happy life?
don't sweat the small stuff.
Okay.
I spent way too many years worrying about things that I really shouldn't worry about. And it's only once Leo had cancer you kind of think, actually, it really doesn't matter if I can't afford that new car.
Mm-hmm.
Car just is wheels. And yes, it's important. It makes you feel good, if it makes you feel good.
Yeah, yeah.
But actually, don't sweat it. Just get the other car.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, so-and-so didn't call you back today. Well, call them. Don't wait for other people to call you.
Mm-hmm.
You can take action. And also control what you can control. Don't worry about the things so much that you can't control. And that's another thing I very much learnt about Leo having cancer. I could not control him having cancer. It was not my fault. It was not anyone's fault. So I couldn't blame anyone. I also couldn't control whether he survived or not.
Mm-hmm.
But what I could control was my environment and how I felt about it. So yeah, control what you can control and don't worry about the stuff that you can't control.
Okay, perfect. That's 2.
That was 3.
Was it?
Yeah, don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
Control what you can control. What was the other one? There was one I slipped in. We both missed it. It was that important. We both missed it. Do you want another one anyway?
Yeah, go on.
Another tip. Say thank you. A lot.
Yeah.
I was brought up in America for a very short space of time, and I love America. I'm American as well as being British. And when they say have a nice day, the majority of the time they actually do mean it.
Mm-hmm.
So just be really nice and be thankful and say thank you to people and let people out. When you know when you're in a queue of cars and someone's edging out, just let them out.
Yeah.
It makes you feel so good.
It does. You're right. You're right. And also that favour gets passed on.
Oh, it's karma.
Yeah.
What goes around comes around. I firmly believe that actually if you go around driving angry, who's the one that's going to have the accident?
Yeah, yeah. And also I think it's weird. I reckon there's a ripple effect where if you let someone out, then they'll let someone out, then they'll let someone out, and it will just literally you've just helped someone that you just let yourself out.
Yep.
2 days later because it's just rippled.
Same with opening a door and holding a door for someone.
Yeah.
That guy may have never held a door for anyone or had a door open for them. You know, well, he might just do it for someone else because it made them feel good.
Yeah, yeah.
So on the flip side, I'm saying don't sweat the small stuff, but actually, the small stuff is what makes the world go round as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
So hold the door open for the next time.
Hold the door open.
Hold the door open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And say thank you.
Yeah.
2 words.
Yeah.
Thank you when someone does hold the door open for you.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not difficult, is it?
It's not at all.
But it makes you feel good.
It does.
And it makes them feel good.
It makes you feel warm and fuzzy.
Yes.
Which is all good.
Yeah.
So if our listeners would like to reach out and say hi, and obviously there's been definitely some stuff that you've spoke about, if anybody's maybe going through a bit of experience similar to yours in the past or whatever, and they wanted to reach out, I mean, would you be happy for them to reach and say hi and and tap into your your love and kindness?
Absolutely. So email is a good one. Helen@yourpeoplepartners.com. And then on Facebook, if you look for Helen Sanders, which is Sanders, and I'm in Bristol, you'll be able to find me on there.
Perfect. And you're happy for me to put that in the show notes and stuff and that?
Absolutely.
And
Show notes.
Show notes. Well, hey.
Look at you getting all fancy.
I know, but I don't have them done yet. But they will be there, guys. There will be show notes. There will be some notes for the show. So, right, last question before I've got to run off. And people that are watching, I'm wearing my my Mighty St. George ping pong t-shirt tonight because I've got a game, Helen, and I've got a dash in a second. So I'm really sorry that
It's all right.
but I think
This
we've managed
has been
to. So it's your 100th birthday.
It is.
Yes. Okay. Not today.
I look really well for 100.
And basically you're having a birthday party.
Yeah.
And Leo's, the grandchildren, they're there. They're coming up to you basically, and nothing that you've ever done in the past. So none of your profile, none of your blogs, none of your recordings, nothing is there online anymore. What are the 3 words of wisdom or tips advice or anything that you would let that person know?
It's kind of everything we've talked about is every day just be really thankful for whatever you can be thankful for. There will be days, goodness knows there were days when Leo was so sick where actually I was thinking about funerals and not survival. But even that day, I was still thankful for the doctors and the nurses. So it is about being really grateful and thankful are interchangeable, aren't they? So just, I would absolutely be saying to them, just smile and just be happy with where you are. And actually, if you're not happy with where you are, make a plan, look at your vision. And that vision doesn't have to be out there. It doesn't have to be a mansion. It doesn't have to be, but just look at where you are and take a small step towards where can make you happy.
Cool. Perfect. Helen, thank you so much for your time. I want to cuddle.
Yay.
A live cuddle.
Always.
Oh.
Thank you, Pete.
No worries.